Hello everyone, welcome to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari and I'm joined by Rare Adam tonight. We have two teams ready to get at it this evening. Glacial Void up against Rising Tide Typhoon. And once we get into Summoner's Rift, maybe even into client draft, you might notice one of the names on the Rising Tide Typhoon. That's right. The casters are casting a caster.
We're doing it finally.
Yeah, we're finally doing it. We've been trying to make this work for like the longest time, of us trying to cast each other's games. Each other's, I say, as I'm not in Style Esports, Sag. Yeah, tonight We Wizards team is going up against Glacial Void, Rising Tide Typhoon. These two teams about middle of the pack, 43 and 48 on our ranking systems for this week, and we're ready to see two teams go at it. We got a pretty good game for y'all to come out here. And sadly, We Wizards Urgot has been banned away, but I'm sure it will be a great game series regardless.
Yeah, we've got...
Adam, are you ready?
I am ready. I am ready to cast for We Wizards. We were talking to him yesterday when he was casting. We're saying, you know what? We're going to flame crap out of you on stream today, but of course in a joking way. But I'm honestly excited to see what he's got on the table. Of course, Rising Tide Typhoon, a little bit of a newer team actually to the league, and really came through it and having a good start. They are 5-2 thus far this season, so have had some pretty good successes here and looking to move up even further on the standings against the Glacial Void here, one of our Glacial teams, part of the organization.
Yeah, and both these teams sporting some pretty good players back and forth here. I'm excited to see both the Sir Gerb and the Mr. Gerb. I'm sure that will be fun to cast with their team here. I'm excited, especially because they play a whole lot of very interesting champions for sure. On the other side, I'm really excited to see Tuna 111738. They're a Teemo one trick, and hopefully we get to see the Teemo this time around.
And thus forward, we will be referring to them as Tuno. We will not say the entire number unless they end up doing like a crap ton of damage, in which case they're allowed to have that title. But thus far, I think we have our top laners picked up here. The Shen versus the Scion. No Teemo, no Urgot, Sag. So just dropping those big beefy boys up on that top side.
Could be a support Shen. Could be a support Shen. You don't know.
It's not a Shen.
Nah, okay, we know.
River Shen? River Shen?
Yeah, I mean, it would be fun to see. I think I would like to see the Teemo come out here, but I think picking Teemo blind kind of stinks. And if they're, I personally think that it stinks, especially because if you're not up against a champion that like gets hosed by your blind, then it feels pretty bad to play Teemo because you're not really getting the same amount of harassment as you normally would, right? You're not coming out of these trades positive because you're blinding people from far away before they even dive, or even after they dive on top of you, right? So probably not going to see the Teemo come out here, even though I would love to see it, but regardless here. Kog'Maw, Scion, Braum are going to be locked in for Rising Tide Typhoon here. Misfortune, Leona, and Shen being locked in for Glacial Void. And I feel like one team has a Worlds comp so far, and the other team is picking Comfort, which is fine, but Worlds comp on the other side, maybe.
Yeah, Worlds comp. If you're comfortable with it, by all means, go for it. But at the same time, as we always say with some of these lower matches, comfort is king. It's sort of become the mantra of... At this point, I feel like anything around plat and below, which, to be fair, isn't low elo. It's 90% of the player base. Just comfort is king. Play what you're comfortable with. You'll have more fun and have more success on champions you enjoy playing first and foremost, as well as are knowledgeable on how to play them. So we'll have to see what comes out for Sir and Mr. Gerb here. I think those are the two roles that we're missing, their jungler and their mid laner. So curious to see what Rising Tide Typhoon finish out their comp with, because thus far they have a Kog'Maw and some really beefy frontliners who can really just soak up as much damage as possible to give Kog'Maw the best avenue to the late game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind a Seraphine mid here. Maybe just like playing another Enchanter in the mid lane would be like a good idea. Karma also comes to mind. Maybe even Galio, right? But Fiddlesticks, I think Fiddlesticks might be pretty good. That's a whole lot of fearing. There's a whole lot of zone control as well. And can also line up kills for Kog'Maw to finish off.
Yeah, and there's some really cool combos with Fiddlesticks plus these frontliners already. You can set up Fiddlesticks with a Braum ultimate or even a Scion ultimate. Just everyone come through, and all of a sudden there's 3 people on top of you instead of just the one you thought was. So I like this Fiddlesticks pickup here. Also very strong as an AP jungler, but struggles in that early game just a little bit, especially against the likes of a champion like Xin Zhao that is picked up here for Kama. So gotta have to be careful on this Fiddlesticks. I want to see how they path, because I'm a firm believer that Fiddlesticks is the best. Fiddlesticks players know how to play the first 5 minutes of the game to the point where they can get level 6 before anyone else in the game and make that first ult as useful as possible. But Glacial Void still going with that Worlds Comp, as you were saying.
Yeah. As Silas being locked in here, I actually think this is pretty good. There's a whole lot of ultimates on the enemy team to grab here. I think 3 out of the 4 so far that we see are pretty advantageous ultimates to pick. I think the only one I'm like on the fence about is Kog'Maw, but even then, like, that's still like a lot of damage. It's just like, you know, it's not like a Glacial Chasm, or I actually, you know what? I actually don't know what Sion's ultimate is called.
Unstoppable Charge?
Yeah,
maybe?
I actually don't know.
Because
you know, I know a lot of the ultimate. Yeah. I know a lot of the ultimate names. You know, I know a decent chunk of them. And I've even played Sion. I know what the ultimate does. I just don't know what it's called.
It's one of those ultimates that's like, because there's Malphite, which is Unstoppable Force. Then there's Hecarim E, which is Devastating Charge, and I think it's Unstoppable Charge. But at the same time, like, it just sounds too bland for Sion for some reason.
Yeah, right?
Especially
Devastating Charge just doesn't sound right. Hold on, I'm going to look it up.
Devastating Charge is Hecarim's E, I know that. I think it's Unstoppable.
Devastating,
it might be Unstoppable
there's no way.
Onslaught.
That's the Roar of the Slayer. Decimating Smash is his Q.
It's
Unstoppable
yes.
Onslaught.
Yes, that's what it is.
That makes sense. Yeah. There it is. Unstoppable Onslaught. Yeah. It's such a cool ultimate too. My favorite use of it is whenever someone uses it from like downtown, like they start in the base and then run all the way to top lane and then ram into their top laner from like a million miles away, or when they use it to like run away, because Sion always yells like cowards and he like runs in the opposite direction. Like, that's really funny. I love Sion. Sion's really cool.
Sion's an interesting champion overall, but this matchup here is actually going to be a little bit tough for WeWizard. In general, Shen is seen as one of the premier sort of tank buster tanks in some ways. You have a lot of percent health damage in that early game with your Spirit Blade. If you can get the pull through, even you get that extra attack speed. And Sion in the early game generally just wants to sit back, get a couple of stacks onto that Soul Furnace so that you have enough health, but you don't really want to build that much. You don't feel the need to build armor that early in this lane specifically. You just want to build that health and sort of get that pool up. But Shen punishes that in a pretty big way. So really curious to see how WeWizard wants to play out this lane. Might go for something a little bit more damage oriented. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come through, especially considering the frontline capabilities Sion has on their own. But we kind of just flew over the mid lane pick that Mr. Grr picked up here. It's a Heimerdinger mid lane.
Yep. Yeah, Heimerdinger is a champion we've really only seen in Style Esports from Ewok, right? Like, Ewok seems to be the only person who plays Heimerdinger in Style Esports that we've seen on stream. And, you know, we've seen someone who's very good at Heimerdinger pilot Heimerdinger, and it's very oppressive, right? In the top lane, it seems like you're a lot safer to do strats like that. And in the mid lane, you can't exactly do the same thing as top lane Heimerdinger does, right? Where you're just kind of like set up in front of the turret and like as close to the turret as you can be with your turrets, and just, you know, zoning out the enemy. Like, you have to play closer to the center, I feel, as Heimerdinger in the mid lane.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit. You just have to be careful in that lane, I feel, especially into a Silas. But you have your turrets to block up the Abscond Abduct, which is really big. Xin Zhao, when he's going in onto Heimerdinger, he doesn't want to be autoing any of those turrets, which is exactly what Heimerdinger wants. He wants to be able to get all of that turret damage across, so Zin's going to have to be extremely careful. And even Misfortune has to be a little bit careful of the grenade that gets thrown out by Heimerdinger. The ult grenade can just sort of quash any sort of team fight advantage they may have with a good ultimate from Gopamine. So I think that this Heimerdinger isn't actually the worst pickup here. I think it's, once again, a comfort pick for Mr. Gerb here, but still a little bit curious about how it's going to be moving in.
Yeah, and also, does Silas get all of Heimerdinger's abilities after stealing his ultimate? Like, he has to, right?
Yes, he would get it, I believe, just because you have to pick one of the abilities after. It's the same as Karma, right? When you steal Karma ultimate, you get to take one of her spells.
Yeah. Hold on, let's see. Here we go. Heimerdinger. Silas's basic abilities are replaced with Heimerdinger's empowered abilities. The upgrade buff lasts until the ultimate can be stolen again. That's actually insane.
Yeah,
right?
he gets that one-time use of it as well, so
yeah.
You have that selection with it. It's not like you have to use the turret if he puts it down. So it can be quite useful, but it really depends on how much Brighter plays Heimerdinger, because there's sort of like the I don't know how to play Heimerdinger way of using it, where you just drop down your turret every single time and let it go. But if Brighter actually has some knowledge on how to play Heimerdinger, we might see, Abscond into Steel Ultimate, into the Abduct, into the Rocket Storm there, and it'll deal a whole bunch of damage. So I'm curious to see what the combos are that come through.
Excuse me. Silas is one of those champions, I think the same as Viego as well, where it's kind of like you have to be like knowledgeable on like most champions in order to play them effectively, right? Like you need to know Silas first, and then you have to know like most of the other champions afterwards, right? Because picking up those basic, sometimes even like picking up a character's basic abilities as Silas is sometimes like stealing the ultimate isn't just the only thing you do against some of these characters, and especially evident with Heimerdinger as well. And knowing when to place down that turret, or even when to use the other empowered ultimates is going to be really important for the Silas here, because in this laning phase where he is going to get level 6 fairly early on and picking up the ultimate from Heimerdinger probably more often than maybe Fiddlesticks, it's going to see how he uses that particular ability, and how he's using it to that advantage that we're really going to have to take a look at in that mid lane, though.
Yeah, I think that this matchup is going to be really interesting, and I'm excited to see what goes on. I don't know about you, Shinkari, but Heimerdinger is always a fun champion to watch, not play against. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only thing last we have to talk about is this Kog'Maw Braum lane in the bot lane. Miss Fortune Leona, I feel like there's not really a whole lot to talk about here. Because we've seen it a million times at Worlds. It's just so much synergy between the two, and Leona does a good job of being able to roam around the map as well, and leaving Miss Fortune kind of on an island. And when team fights happen, Solar Flare plus bullet time combo is insanely potent.
Yeah, I think that just having the Braum to really disrupt that bot lane engage, as well as be able to peel for this Kog'Maw in the early game, is the really important part. Braum is sort of like falls off later on into the game. Like you still have that utility with your shield, but once that's down, Braum isn't that tanky overall. So really it's just about getting Kog'Maw to that mid game where he gets an item, and then they're able to punish from there.
Yeah, we'll have to see how everything plays out, as we are going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be loaded onto the rift of game number 1 of Glacial Void versus Rising Tide Typhoon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Oh, they have a bunch of good skins here. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari. We're on the Rift of Glacial Void up against Rising Tide Typhoon. Glacial Void's on the blue side. Rising Tide Typhoon's on the red. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Rare Adam. We're on the Rift of game number 1. And both these teams have some pretty cool skins. Specifically the red side, who I was looking, because Sion has the Megas XLR chroma. Sir Gerb is sitting on Surprise Party Fiddlesticks. And I believe that's the chroma that you get for watching LCS, but it's still Dragon Slayer ROM is still really cool.
Yeah. He's popping off in the mid lane right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely popping off. But
yeah.
Oh, I learned that a week ago or something, where during our transition, you can actually hear us because it's a long transition, but it's right in between. It's like, oh, okay. But regardless, onto the Rift we are here. Both of these... Well, I mean, the main thing I want to watch is where Fiddlestick starts, because that's always interesting. And Tuna going to try and get a deep ward, but going to actually get spotted out. So ward isn't going to be too useful, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be a little annoying here. I think the big thing here is that they're going to know exactly where Fiddlestick starts, and it looks like he is doing the I'm going to do red and wolves at exactly the same time. Yeah, there's Sir Gerb right there. Trying to get that red and wolves or raptors at the same time.
Yeah, it's a pretty OP strategy, honestly. And I'm actually surprised that they took more than one health potion, because oftentimes on Fiddlesticks you'll just see them go for control wards. But has the cookies as well. We were commenting about his rune choices as... Oh, goodness.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, this is the Heimerdinger versus melee matchup. It's just in mid lane you just have to be that much more... how should I say, careful about where you are, because there are so many more entry points to this lane that you could be ganked from, especially by Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and there's just fighting everywhere on this map thus far. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best time to do so for Tuna, right? Wizard is going to eventually become just a health machine. I mean, it's just going to have so much health that it's really going to be hard to deal with him. So using this time as a means to get ahead and find whatever leads you can is pretty good. Is this the level 2 here? Good shield by the Braum here, trying to turn around on the Gopamine here, but Brazilian is actually taken pretty low here, going to go down. Now they're trying to turn around, find some damage on the Gopamine here, but the concussive blows are not going to come through. Bigsby is trying to run away, but it looks like they're just going to... Oh, wait a minute. They faltered. They might actually be able to get out of here. Helium Bamboo is trying to give the kill over to Gopamine. And okay, there's the Zenith Blade. There's the shield. There's the shield again. Can they find that last bit of damage? Bigsby's wasting their time a whole lot here. Okay, finally. Okay, yeah. Okay, Gopamine is going to be the one picking up the kill here. And that whole instance is why I say over and over again, supports, just get the kill.
Yeah,
Have your AD carries cry about it. But, like, at the end of the day, you don't get garbage like that. Come on.
Yeah, and what happens there is actually the wave is pushing into Kog'Maw, while Miss Fortune is able to get an extra longsword off of her back now. The wave is going to potentially get frozen against her. Mr. Gerb and Sir Gerb, though, going to have to link up here. Oh, no. Kama runs away.
Yep.
You don't want to fight her there.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty good so far. I mean... Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you do get 2 kills. It's just like, man, it just drives me bananas all the time when people are like, don't do the gifting of the kill properly, right? And then, you know, there's just a Benny Hill song going on for like for 2 minutes as people try to chase down the one target you were trying to gift over to your AD carry, and then it's just like, come on, man, just take it. KS stands for kill secured, like, please.
Yeah, I mean, there's other times where unfortunately the supports get the kills when they shouldn't get them, and in some ways that was the kill onto Resilient there, where Helium Bamboo did pick that kill up, I think with the W proc, so could have potentially given that one over to Gopamine instead. You don't have that case, but Bot lane, they're just still going at it here. My goodness.
Yeah, Resilient still looking for some good damage here. Here comes a teleport in from Heimerdinger here. Gopamine is actually taken pretty low here. They might actually turn onto Helium Bamboo. There's the stun right there. We have a teleport coming in from Silas here. Brighter.
Goodness.
Resilient is on a bad position here. Here comes Wee Wizard into the bot lane here, taken pretty low. Looking for the last bit of damage. Absolutely. Resilient is going to be picking up the kill onto Gopamine as Mr. Gerb and Wee Wizard just going to sit around for just a little bit longer. Shove in this wave, grab some solo experience, and make Brighter stay here for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting play from Gopamine to stick around there. The good news is that in that last exchange there, the CS between Resilient and Gopamine did go in favor of that Kog'Maw significantly. So this Kog is only about 450 gold behind, despite having 2 kills or a kill and 2 assists down. So Resilient doing a good job of wave management. Another thing to note is Gopamine's not going to get any of the experience and has the wave pushing back. So Resilient is going to have, once again, wave advantage down here. And while Gopamine should be able to punish with the Comet, with the Misfortune, just having that annoying factor to her with her double up being able to go through that minion, it means that Resilient is still going to have to be very careful. But thus far, I don't think Resilient is as far behind as the scoreline may be telling us.
Yeah, taking a look at the gold, he's only down about 200 and some change, like 260 something gold, which is thanks to this wave management that he's been doing so far. He's had like a bunch of waves on his half of the map that Gopamine has had to walk all the way over to, and then freezing really well by the Kog'Maw as well. And you know, Misfortune shows up, shoves in the wave again, and now another wave is coming, and you know, Kog'Maw is going to be able to freeze this once again underneath turret, and Gopamine is going to have some trouble catching up with the CS here, as that's a really good burst window to find some good damage on Gopamine.
And overall, this is what we want to see out of Rising Tide Typhoon. They have the better late game comp with a Kog'Maw, with a Heimerdinger, with the Fiddlesticks as well. You have a lot of mid to late game potential. Of course, you still need to be careful of the likes of a Misfortune, but Xin Zhao's not going to be as effective come later game. And look at this top side here. Sir Gerb's looking.
Yeah, it's going to be the ultimate over the wall. Tuna taken incredibly low, and they're going to go down. Xin Zhao is going to be trading the Drake on the bottom half. The Cloud Drake, that singular Drake, that's very good by itself. Going to be picked up for the blue squad here for Glacial Void. As you know, I actually have to hand it to the Rising Tide Typhoon bot lane here. You know, this is a lane that's very much favored towards the Misfortune and the Leona early. And while the kills are definitely in the favor of the bot lane right now, I definitely think the gold is somewhat getting more and more even. Yeah, never mind. I mean, they're still doing very well and still trading like fairly well with the Misfortune and the Leona.
Yeah, and one thing to note is that Resilient is going to be able to freeze this wave. Bigsby's sticking around here as well to be able to tank up that minion wave if necessary. So this Misfortune backing on a freeze is really bad because she's losing so many minions here now. She's going to have to give up another wave unless Xin Zhao comes bot lane. Leona's going to be behind her as well. Didn't pick up tier 2 boots, so will take her time to get to lane. So overall, this is just a really good lane state, and we're talking a lot about this, but like honestly, that's most of the action that's coming around the map. You know, looking at the gold lead right now, that kill on the top side just gets them back in it, but despite being down 2 kills and a dragon, they might get a kill here too. That's the power of the freeze.
Yeah, Gopamine actually taking a whole lot of damage. That's a Zenith Blade to re-engage here. Going to land the stun onto Resilient. Going to pop that cleanse. Trying to walk away from Helium Bamboo. Going to be able to get away from there. Gopamine taken actually really, really low here, and they have to be careful because Resilient and Bigsby might be able to sneak a kill if they stay along for too long. But now, look, Misfortune now has to back here, and this is, once again, we talked about wave management. And now, Misfortune, after that engage, after having that wave froze on the other half of the map for so long, now they have to back after just coming back to lane.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw's a full level up. That's the main thing to keep in mind. Forced to back off here. You know, they have to back extremely far away. Be careful of a rogue Braum Q to come through the Glacial Bite, or even just the Kog'Maw ultimate that's blind into a bush. Could pick up a kill, so Gopamine's going to be backing off. Only able to pick up a longsword. Mid lane, though. Ooh.
Yeah, Mr. Gerb. Oh, my God. The burst damage is so good. Dingle Dangle is going to be the one picking up the kill in the mid lane. Silas goes down. I do, however, really, really like... Leona onto Kog'Maw right here. Throws out the Q, trying to kite away, but they're going to go down. Helium Bamboo does have that damage. Going to be able to take down Kog'Maw right here. Finally punish them for staying in lane for so long. Yeah, I mean, it pretty feels bad, but it's a kill onto Leona, so it's not the end of the world, honestly. So,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
interesting options here coming through from actually the side of Rising Tide Typhoon. Instead of going Merc Treads on this Braum, I'm going to be opting for the Lucidity Boots to maybe get that shield up a little bit more. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's what we're seeing come through. And Kog'Maw going for what I assume is an early shield bow. I don't mind this here, actually, especially since that Wit's End got nerfed. But there are some other builds that you could go for here on this Kog'Maw, but I think they just want to make sure that he's getting as much damage as possible, as opposed to sort of be the 1v9 master that you see in solo queue. But we Wizard, he's out of it.
Oh, he's using, there it goes. Unstoppable onslaught all the way back to the turret.
Yeah, just making sure he stays nice and safe there.
Man, that's so funny. I didn't even hear what Scion screamed as he was running away, but it's always so funny that he's just like this big burly guy that's like calling people out for being cowards and weaklings, and people use unstoppable onslaught to run in the opposite direction.
Oh my goodness, though.
Oh, yeah, Resilient has to flash down in the bot lane. That's all it takes, really, to focus down this Kog'Maw. But here comes the Sir Gerb and Bigsby here. Solar Flare going to land onto Fiddlesticks here. That's going to be the Zenith Blade engage. Resilient is now in some trouble here as the teleport is coming in from Silas. They're looking for the re-engage here. It's a 3v3. The Sir Gerb is going to back away. That's going to be the Silas sealing the Glacial Fissure, trying to get a little bit more, but that's going to be the re-engage here. They got a decent chunk of damage, and they have a teleport coming in from Heimerdinger as well. That's going to be the Stand Unite coming across as well. They're looking for this Kog'Maw. He's finally on the back line, getting some decent chunk of damage, but Karma has dived onto the backside here. The Mr. Gerb is trying to turn this around as best they can. They're dealing a decent chunk of damage, and they're being able to pick up a whole bunch of kills here. They're actually turning it around. Double kill for the Heimerdinger here. It's a 4 for 3. And I think Kog'Maw ends up getting a whole bunch of gold off of that as well. They're now 3, 4, and 2. And the whole bunch of gold onto this Heimerdinger as well. 3, 0, and 1. The Mr. Gerb in the mid lane is doing very, very well on this Heimerdinger.
Yeah, really well played from the side of Rising Tide Typhoon. They're able to sort of push that wave and, I guess, starting to build that tsunami, so to speak, in terms of that lane phase. And, you know, Kog'Maw able to pick up a kill before they go down and able to pick up the second one onto Silas with the passive. And everyone was just fighting into the Mr. Gerb there, was able to put those turrets down so efficiently, and we saw that Kama just can't do anything once he's in the middle there. Once he uses that Crescent Strike, which he used before the Heimerdinger was even there, you know, you don't have any way to save yourself from that damage coming through from those turrets. So this should be a dragon going over to the side. Ooh, yes. Ooh,
dashes over the wall looking for the steal. Not going to be able to find it. He's feared up. He might be stunned right here. Mr. Gerb is going to be the one picking up the kill. Here's Brighter. Going to steal up that Crow Storm here. Is he going to use it to go back over the wall? I don't think he wants to 1v3, but it is a Mountain Soul for this map here, which, who do you think likes this Mountain Soul more?
There's a Scion in this game. I think we know who favors it more. And actually, in a lot of ways, the fact that they have a Fiddlesticks, a Heimerdinger, and a Kog'Maw, who are, you know, generally seen as squishy champions, having that Mountain Soul on a Kog'Maw actually provides a lot of value, because it means you stay alive for that extra couple of auto attacks. It means that you're able to get that little bit of fear off. You're able to live through the crowd control and drop your Zhonya's down. So for the side of Rising Tide Typhoon, despite their name, you know, Mountain Soul probably one of the best souls for them. On the flip side as well, though, just Mountain Soul's strong in general, and since they split the first two dragons, it's going to be a three stack soul no matter which way you cut it.
Ooh, that's a whole lot of damage on a Helium Bamboo there, as Shelly is popped over by the red buff to get into this bot lane here, which, you know, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean,
they might go for a dive, though, on this bot side. They know this is happening. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's going to be the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare coming across already. The Silas is waiting along the walls here. Bigsby is taking incredibly low. The Crow Storm is good. 2 easy kills for Brighter here. They're going to be able to get just a little bit more, because Shelly is going to shove as well. 4 members in this bot lane. I think they just got to let it go.
Yeah, this should be the tower, because plates are falling exactly now. So it should be able to pick up that tower. First tower going over to the side of Glacial Void, and they're finally able to capitalize on their name in some ways. They had that Glacial Void monster, at least, freezing the wave down in bot lane. Kog'Maw, but eventually they're able to heat up that bot lane and finally pick up that tower. So well played by them to be able to sort of resuscitate that bot lane a little bit, give Misfortune a little bit more space to move around the map now. As Resilient, honestly, just a little bit greedy there. They saw that Rift Herald plays down. They thought it was a Troll Herald, but all 4 members down, and you saw the Silas clearing out that ward as well. You just got to back right off at that point.
Yeah, I agree. It might have been a little bit greedy. I think this might also be a little bit advantageous for the Kog'Maw, because if Kog'Maw's behind right now, which He definitely is. You know, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that first turret gold. He doesn't have all that nearby plate gold, right? He doesn't have as much kill participation, right? So giving him this kind of shorter lane for him to just kind of freeze or push just a little bit could be advantageous for him. As they're trying to engage right here, but Mr. Gerb is just going to get an incidental kill on a Misfortune right now. They're able to turn it around on Helium Bamboo. That's the re-engage from Silas here. They're going to be able to pick up the kill on the Heimerdinger onto Fiddlesticks here, but here comes Scion. Gonna pick up one kill. These turrets are doing so much damage that Mr. Gerb is a monster here. Can they try to turn it around? Kama's driving forward, but you're diving right into the turrets. No, Mr. Gerb picks up another kill. He's 7-0-2. We keep talking about this Kog'Maw, but can we talk about this Heimerdinger for a moment?
Yeah, they killed the wrong Gerb there. Sir Gerb able to get a decent Crow Storm over the wall, but in the end he goes down. But honestly, big credits to Wee Wizard. They're getting a huge 3-man ultimate into a 3-man knockup to set up for Mr. Gerb in the end there, picking up 2 more kills. And yes, we do need to talk about Mr. Gerb because he's asking to be called Sir at this point. You can switch those titles around, and that's really where it's supposed to be. This Heimerdinger is starting to pop off. 7-0-2 has 10 Dark Seal stacks as well. Wouldn't be surprised to see the Medjai's picked up at some point, but we'll just pick up that Zanya's, and this is 2 items at 16 minutes. No matter what champion you're on, you love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, these are 2 insanely annoying. I feel like all of Heimerdinger's build is just like he builds 1 damage item and then every other item is just designed for him to make himself more annoying to deal with, right? Zonya's Hourglass is the most frustrating thing to deal with on a Heimerdinger, especially on one that's ahead. It's like, yeah, I'm going to dive him and pressure him. Oops. Turret damage. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
And I think one of the main things to keep in mind is that if we're looking at damage items, Leandre's is the most annoying damage item too, because you're like, I got out of there, and all of a sudden you're just burning down, and you're like trying to start your back. You can't back, or you die while you're backing or something. Wouldn't be surprised to see a Demonic Embrace come through, the likes of a Rylai's Crystal Scepter as well, to take advantage of those turrets even more, and stack up Leandre's and Demonic a little bit easier as well. So Heimerdinger can just build as annoying as he wants here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's going to be a couple of flashes here. That's a whole lot of ultimates being spent to be in order to pick up the kill on a Braum. The Sir Gerb is able to get out of there a lickety split, but it looks like the blue team is just going to be able to maybe pick up the second Herald. It looks like they're abandoning it now.
Yeah, Bigsby was just doing it for the nice score. That's all I'll say.
You gotta look good in the post game screen. Like if you look at your match history and you see 2 Rift Heralds, you're like, nice. Like,
or if you see that score. Regardless, top side. Oh no.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happens right there. He's going to get the Stand United from Shen, but it's not going to be able to stop the Heimerdinger. He's going to get some shutdown gold as well, as Kog'Maw is going to take that mid lane turret as well. I think these are some pretty significant trades for Rising Tide Typhoon here. They might be losing the Dragon, and they might have lost Braum in that upper engage, but look at what they're gaining. They got all the outer, they finished clearing all the outer turrets, and now they got a shutdown onto the Heimerdinger as well, and now it looks like they're just grabbing Rift Herald as well, but Kama wants to fight.
Yeah, Bigsby's back
Bigsby, though.
And this should be Herald going over to the side of Rising Tide Typhoon. They're able to kind of ride the wave and pick up 2 more towers on the map there, so they've got all of those outer turrets taken down. You give up second dragon, but realistically this comp doesn't really want to fight around this 3rd dragon spawn. They want to start to fight around the 4th, 5th dragon spawn anyways, where they have all their team fight tools up and available, specifically Kog'Maw sitting hopefully at that point on 2.5 items, where you can start to dish out a whole bunch of damage across the entire team with something like a Runons. But in the side lane, I'm worried for the side of Glacial Void, because thus far this side lane has gone heavily in favor of the side of Rising Tide Typhoon. While you have this Scion who's only 0-0-4, Shen built the Locket, which helps with that ultimate overall, but it won't help in the side lane at all. It's going to make it so difficult for Tuna to have any pressure onto Wee Wizard, and if Wee Wizard opts to buy a Warmog second item, something along those lines, it just means that every time that Shen walks up and tries to get a trade-off, first of all, there's not going to be a whole lot of damage coming through. Second of all, Scion can just back off, start dancing or something, and then heal back up to full.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, right? The Locket is a very good support item, and I don't want to take away from it, right? But the big thing here is that, like, you already have one on your team. Leona already has one, right? Go for a little bit more of a selfish item, so that, because you are going to be in these side lanes. Sure, you're a team fighter and you are going to be showing up to these team fights, in which case the locket will be very useful. But I feel like, Frostfire Gauntlet doesn't sound too bad on a Shen, especially if you're going to be spending most of your time in the side lanes. Look at where Shen has been. Okay, wait a minute. Resilient, time to flash away here. Bigsby looking for some damage on the Helium Bamboo, but they can't quite find it. Kog'Maw did flash, which is actually really, really big here. Just give me the Solar Flare across here. Here comes Kama. The Surgerb is going to be in some trouble here. There's the Fear to try to turn him away. Resilient is actually in a good spot right here, trying to auto-attack Helium Bamboo away from them. Not going to be able to get it. That's the shield coming out. They're going to be able to survive for just a little bit longer. Here comes the Mr. Gerb as well. The last bit of damage on the Kama they're going to be able to find is Resilient is just staying in this fight for very, very long. Their namesake is good. That's going to be the Wee Wizard flashing forward. Going to find the knock up here. They're trying to turn it around. Resilient is going to get caught up by Gopamine here. They're going to fall down. Tuna is now in the middle of the fight, looking for a little bit more for themselves. Not going to be able to find the kill on the Bigsby. At the end of the day, it's a 3-for-2 in favor of Rising Tide Typhoon.
Yeah, Mr. Grip shows up and gets another kill, but Brighter has to be really careful here.
Yeah, it goes golden here. Wee Wizard's going to try to zone out Gopamine as much as possible. They're going to be able to succeed, and this is actually really big. I think the biggest thing about that team fight here and what they're gaining off of it is because the Surgerb died, he wasn't able to drop Shelly, so he's still sitting on it. They could have been able to get more turrets off of that, but because they died so early, they weren't able to get more off of that win than they could have, right? It's a 4-for-2, right? That's really, really big at the end of that really long extended engage, but, it feels kind of bad not being able to use Shelly.
Yeah, and a little bit of an odd situation here, at least an odd build from Surgerb, going for Riftmaker as opposed to the Rocket Belt or the Night Harvester or something like that. I'm not a big fan of Night Harvester, but I think, what is that, first of all? What is that turret doing? I'm going back over to that.
Why? What's up? Oh, he's just, okay. Yeah, you all right, bud?
He's freaking out.
Yeah, you okay? Yeah, he's having a bad time. I think you know what I think? He's stuck in the auto attack animation, but also stuck in the animation of I need to go back to being an egg.
Yeah, he gets saved right by getting killed off. But
yeah, okay. Gopamine is some trouble here. Resilient actually dealing a whole bunch of damage. Not able to finish off the concussive blows here, but that's going to be Kama diving onto Resilient here. They're trying to put some damage on the Kama, but he's inside the dome. They can't really find a Kama. Continuing to dive onto Resilient here, but that lifeline shield is going to keep them alive for just a little bit longer. Resilient diving onto getting taken down here. Here comes the Wee Wizard, going to be able to pick up the kill on the Brighter here. Helium Bamboo is now running away from the Surgerb, who has to pop Shelly over by the blue buff here. I think that goes into the top lane, and now with all of 3 members down for the blue side, with Tuna and Helium Bamboo the only members up, 4 up for the red side. They're going for Baron.
Yeah, and there's no way that you have your double locket users take a fight here regardless. So while Rift Herald, I don't even believe got the charge off, because I think Helium Bamboo is able to block that up. You get Baron off the back end of that. The only person who doesn't get it is Resilient. While it sucks you don't get bonus stats on your Kog'Maw, he's going to be grouping up with the team, so the minion buff isn't as strong, and now you have to worry about Mr. Gerb and Wee Wizard in these side lanes, pushing in not only with Baron, but pushing into the likes of a level 11 Silas against the level 14 Heimerdinger, and a Locket of the Iron Solari Shen against what will eventually be a Titanic Hydra on Wee Wizard Scion.
Yeah, as now they're looking for the engage right here, and that's going to be it. That's going to be the rain coming down from the backside here, but the Solar Flare is going to stun them off for just a little bit more. Once again, Resilient trying to kite away here, but they're doing so much to block his damage. They're diving onto the Surgerb and finally able to find the kill here, as now Resilient is using this opportunity to deal so much damage. You focus down the Heimerdinger, but the Kog'Maw still hurts. They're looking for Gopamine now, who is caught out from the rest of the team. Resilient is able to zone them out. Kama goes down to the Wee Wizard, and Brighter is waiting along the corner, but Resilient is still looking for the Misfortune. Not going to be able to find her. They're going to shove out this wave and start the Dragon. It's a 3-for-1.
The Scion just stayed alive forever. He started that fight at full health. He ended the fight at like 40% health, and there's 4 other bodies just sitting around the rift around him. He's so tanky at this stage because this Shen was not able to punish that. You have to take advantage of that early game, and now you just have 2 people pushing down that mid lane. You're able to stop Soul Point from coming down, and Resilient just needs to be careful here.
Yeah, I think they're just accepted their fate at this point, and yeah, they're not going to be able to get. I think they kited in the wrong direction there, and then they're just like, okay, well, oops, and then they're out of there. So the big thing here is that they're losing another person with Baron here, but for the most part, like, this isn't the end of the world for Rising Tide Typhoon here. They're still pretty squarely in the lead at 6,000 gold at this stage, and especially with a team comp like theirs, they're definitely looking to be better, getting better the longer this game goes on. The only thing I want right now is I want Resilient to sell all those attack speed items and pick up a Randuin's Omen. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think if anything, the Randuin's Omen comes through as the 4th item. That's normally where you see Kog'Maw start to opt towards those tankier items. But in my eyes, honestly, you can go Runons into Wit's End into Randuin's into Frostfire, which is a really interesting build on Kog'Maw to stay as tanky as possible. But
yeah,
regardless, Kog'Maw's still able to do a decent amount here despite being a little aggressive, but you just have to watch Mr. Gerb here. As we said, has that 1 damage item. Instead of it being the Leandries, now it's the Medjais, and building more damage, actually. Just not going to take our advice and not be annoying. Just kill people and be annoying in that way instead.
Yeah, I mean, dying is pretty annoying. I mean, it's the most annoying CC in the game, right? You're stunned, you're silenced, you have no control over your character for like 30 seconds. The only thing you can do is buy items, and it also changes the color of the rift, which is a little messed up. As Kama here trying to walk in their own jungle, but it is so far not yours anymore as Resilient. Maybe just playing a little bit too far forward. I think they're finally out of there.
Yeah, and with Baron spawning, well, both of these objectives not spawning for a really long time at this point. They're just trying to find any sort of openings in terms of siege. You have good siege with the Kog'Maw because you have so much range, as well as Heimerdinger always threatening with that Braum Fiddlesticks on the side, and Wee Wizard is just able to sit in a side lane now, just run away with the ultimate whenever they so desire, as that's what they'll have to do here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying real hard to do damage to Wee Wizard here. He's going to pop that ultimate, going to get interrupted here. Kama is looking for the engage. This is going to be the bullet time coming across, finally able to pick up the kill here as Resilient and the Mr. Grip have finally joined the fight, but it might be a little too late here. They're doing some decent chunk of damage. They might actually be able to take down Helium Bamboo here. That's a yes. Resilient, he flashes over the wall. No, he's going to go down. Kog'Maw goes down, looking for Kama. Can he get it with the Agathian explosion? Not going to happen this time. They're getting out of there. Mr. Gerb still looking for them as well, but that was a really good engage by Glacial Void there. They recognized that the carries weren't there, were able to capitalize on them having to spend a decent chunk of time in order to get into the fight, and utilized their tools like the Shen Dome and the Shin Zhao Dome in order to make sure that they can finish off the kill, even when Resilience and the Mr. Gerb show up.
Yeah, and, we saw Kog'Maw try and be Pog'Maw there for a little bit, but instead it was just Dogmaw at the end of that going down. So it's building the Randuins we want, at least.
Let's go.
And Mr. Gerb stays alive, so keeping that book nice and plentiful, but just a little bit too aggressive from Rising Tide Typhoon. As soon as that Scion gets caught out and you're not able to get out with the ultimate, it's going to be a little bit of a rough fight because you don't have that frontline presence. And Bigsby, unfortunately, not really getting too much value out of that either. I just want to point out, though, they went from 0-6-9 to 0-7-20. Really good bounce back in this mid-game from Bigsby to, first of all, stay alive and keep this Kog'Maw alive as much as Resilient wants to go in, but also just keeping themselves alive, too.
Honestly, I feel like at this point, like, just building every single item that says, while you're by your compatriot, do this, right? Knight's Vow, Zeke's Convergence, right? All these items seem really, really good right now as Brighter tries to throw some damage onto Wee Wizard here, but it seems like they've landed their whole combo onto minions here. Now they're looking for the re-engage. They have a teleport coming in from Heimerdinger as well. Brighter is in a whole bad spot right here. They're looking for a little bit more damage. He's slowed up here, tries to dash over to Mr. Gerb on the other side, goes golden, and now they're going to wall him off. They can't go anywhere. Shut down for the Mr. Gerb. Okay, now the Sir Gerb mid lane is trying to fight out Gopamine. Here comes Kama diving onto Resilient here, going to prop that cleanse, trying to run away, but going to get knocked into the air. That's going to be the Zenith Blade of the Well, the Lifeline Shield. Kog'Maw is gonna go down this time. They got the Stand United, the Wee Wizard. That's gonna be Sir Gerb coming over the wall. A decent chunk of damage here. Tuna looking to dive just a little bit more. Wee Wizard staying alive for just a little bit longer, but the Mr. Gerb is here, and he does so much damage. Double kill for the Heimerdinger, triple kill for the Heimerdinger, and a kill for the Fiddlesticks as well. It's an ace, and Rising Tide Typhoon come out on top.
Just really well played from them there. Once again, Resilient is sort of the bait there, just dangling the Kog'Maw in front of their eyes. You can see their eyes light up, foaming at the mouth, and all of a sudden you get the rest of the team coming through. And, Mr. Gerb has had an insane game here. 15-0 and 11. 25 stacks on that Medjai's, sitting on 3,800 gold right now as well. So literally just playing with their food, because they have as many items as the Silas right now, technically. But, they're just saying, I don't need to buy it. I will back out, pick up a whole ass Rabadons, and we'll continue the game from there. So,
Sadly, rule number 1 of League of Legends can't be followed anymore thanks to mythic items, which is if you back with more than 4,000 gold, you have to buy a Trinity Force. Like, that's rule number 1 of League of Legends. Like, and you know, mythic items just kind of ruined the rules of League of Legends, which, you know, sad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember there used to be those like super tanky builds you saw where, oh my goodness.
Okay, wait a minute. The Mr. Gerb might actually be in some trouble here. Has to flash away. Has thrown down the big turret here. That's going to be the first. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Has he used his stasis? He's still alive. No, they're actually going to be able to find the shutdown. Finally, he dies. The Goliath goes down. But what did it cost? Kama is still insanely low here. The Sir Gerb is able to pick up the revenge kill here as now Shen has to run for their life. It spent 4 members to take down the Goliath. That was the Mr. Gerb. And at the end of the day, was it worth it? Because now the red team gets to basically do whatever they want with this rift right now.
Yeah, you know, it's the Thanos meme. What did you get?
Yeah.
What did it cost you? Everything. And they literally threw everything in the kitchen sink to get that kill onto Mr. Gerb. And while you take down the Kog'Maw, and actually Bigsby on the back end of that, you know, Kog'Maw is still able to dish out that damage. You have all of the important Baron takers here, and they can take their time, or can they? Let's see.
Okay, he's going to pick up the Crow Storm here. Looks like he's channeling right now. Goes into the pit. The red team is going to be the one securing the Baron. National Heroes. Brighter goes down. Resilient is going to pick up that kill for themselves. So the blue team looking for a consolation prize. Not going to be able to find it this time. And that's going to be a 1-for-0 around the Baron pit. They get the Baron buff as well.
And that was... Sir Gerb did not smite the Baron there. A little bit scary because that Crowstorm from Silas almost took it, but at the end of it, they actually get 4 Baron buffs. Unfortunately, Mr. Gerb spawned about a second too late, so you still get it on Bigsby, who was dead while Baron was started, but yeah, a little bit dicey for my taste there. I think you just kill the Silas as quickly as possible and try and go from there, but regardless, still about a 8,000 gold lead right now, and we'll see if they can push forward for more. I'm really curious to see if they try and end the game off of this, because once we get into hyper late game, the gold lead starts to matter less and less. And while Kog'Maw's sitting on 4 items, you know, Miss Fortune's 3.5 items. If she can get a good ultimate off in one of these fights, she can shred.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this Kog'Maw as the last item should look for a Guardian Angel. Once again, like making themselves just that much more annoying to kill. Like on top of the resistances that they have, you know, with the Wit's End and the Randuins right now, it would be even funnier if they sold their Berserker Greaves. But now the Sir Gerb here might be caught out, goes golden. Mr. Gerb and Bigsby are waiting along the side here, but it doesn't look like they're able to capitalize on it. That's going to be Fiddlesticks just walking away. They do have the Baron buff. Kog'Maw has shoved in the top side here. Let's see, Brighter is looking for the engage, lands onto some minions, throws out the Everfrost, doesn't land here, throwing down the chains, but Resilient is just too much damage. Gonna go on a killing spree right now as Shen tried to use the Stand United, but not gonna be able to pick her up this time as Resilient. Shoving on the side, here comes Scion, diving on top of the turrets right here, but that's gonna be the intro for Cam, looking for the damage here. We're gonna throw out that Shin's out zone, keeping the damage away from Resilient here. They're actually surviving for a pretty long time here. No one's hitting Gopamine, here we go. Resilient's on top of Gopamine right now, taking them incredibly low. Kama actually doing a pretty good job that they're going to fall. That's going to be Gopamine as the last member of the blue team alive, as Resilient, after 33 minutes, is finally able to pop off on this Kog'Maw and win the game for their team. 10, 10, and 17. It was the 10 death power spike that they were waiting for.
Yeah, really well played from the side of Rising Tide Typhoon. They really brought the storm into that one. And honestly, just the Mr. Gerb, such a strong performance on this Heimerdinger. You've got to be careful about these Heimerdinger players because they are nutty. They are always nutty at their champion, and it's so difficult to play against the good Heimerdinger. So I'm expecting that to get tossed onto the ban table for Game 2. But honestly, just overall, some good gameplay from both sides. I think that Brighter had a very strong game on that Silas. Kama stayed relevant regardless, and Gopamine as well had some really strong plays. I think they just lacked a little bit of that side lane pressure, unfortunately, and some of that just comes down to Brighter not getting enough experience this game, and Tuna going for a little bit of a suboptimal build, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think I resonate with that as well. Tuna needed a little bit more of a selfish build, honestly. Maybe seeing a Frostfire would have been better, but you know, who knows? We're talking about you know, maybes and what ifs here. I will agree with you that I think the most possible thing to be banned away here is probably going to be the Heimerdinger, because the Mr. Gerb really popped off this game. And I feel like even though Resilient was very, very strong at the end, I think this game was mostly facilitated by the lead that Mr. Gerb was able to get so early on.
I think that regardless, Glacial Void can come back into the next game with a little bit of an altered draft phase and potentially pop off from there, but really curious to see how they play this out, because Rising Tide Typhoon, you know, just like a Typhoon, they are building in strength and might just sweep you away.
Yeah, we're going to take just a quick break, though. When we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of Glacial Void up against Rising Tide Typhoon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. The Chow? Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Rare Adam, who's being very confusing tonight with our intros. We are in picks and bans of game number 2 between Rising Tide Typhoon and Glacial Void. If you're joining us for the first time, Rising Tide Typhoon were able to get a game number 1 win against Glacial Void thanks to some very well-played Heimerdinger by the Mr. Gerb in the mid lane. Really good job by him, and we're running it back for a game number 2. We're seeing some of the bans come through for Glacial Void here, but it looks like the Fiddlesticks is going to be banned away here, and importantly, Urgot is still on the table, and so is Heimerdinger, as Mumu is going to be the last ban here from Glacial Void as Rising Tide Typhoon have that first pick.
Yeah, tossing down the gauntlet, I guess, and saying, you know what, Wizard? Take your Urgot. You know what, Mr. Gerb? Take your Heimerdinger. We've got the picks to counter them. So curious to see what they opt to go for here, but Ashe actually going to get picked up. I believe this was banned in game 1.
Yeah, I believe it was banned in the second half. No, it wasn't banned away in the first game. So Ashe being locked in first for Rising Tide Typhoon, down in the bot lane for Resilient. It is a more comfort pick for them, but, you know, I would argue that Resilient is more of an Ezreal or a Jinx player more so than anything, but I think they might be sniffing that Glacial Void might have a bit of a counter pick for their Kog'Maw here. So going to lock in the Ashe and then Glacial Void, going to lock in the Jhin. I'm expecting a support pickup here as well.
Yeah, and Jhin is always an interesting pickup, in my opinion, into Ashe, because Ashe has such an easy way to stop the ultimate. If you are the one to... if you're the first one to use your ultimate in this lane, you sort of lose out in the end. If Ashe uses that ultimate first, then she's not saving it for Jin's ultimate. If Jin's using his ultimate first, then he's getting ulted by Ashe, so... Yeah. Interesting combo, but the Nami going to come through. I like this as well because it provides you that movement speed that Jhin loves to get to become the fast, and it gives you a little bit of a buff on your spells, sort of similar to how, not in the same way similar to how Lucian Nami works because you have that mobility, but a Jhin Nami, you just pack a big punch with all of that. But Urgot locked in. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised here either. I did really quickly want to throw in one last note, is that Nami is traditionally a very good counter to Jhin because very similar to what you were talking about with Ashe, Nami just has a clear directional for where she needs to point her tidal wave in order to interrupt the Jhin. So very good pickup here, I think, to synergize with the Jhin, but I'm not sure how I feel about this Warwick pick here.
Warwick going to come through for Sir Gerb, and this is interesting because it provides Rising Tide Typhoon right now have so much single target lockdown. You have an Ashe ultimate, you have an Urgot, you have Warwick ultimate. I'm worried about their team fighting right now because Ashe notoriously has trouble in early to mid game team fights because she doesn't have enough spread damage. She's really single target focused until you get that Runons online, until you get 3-4 items even on Ashe. Urgot, while you're able to do a lot in team fights, you know, you want to sort of take it one at a time, and Warwick is definitely just a single target champion, so yeah, I am curious to see how they want to play this out. Once again, we got to remember comfort is king, and Sir Gerb may just be super comfortable on this Warwick after the Fiddlesticks, so I want to see how they draft the rest of this out, because I think they need some team fight damage coming through in their mid and support right now. Weird combo as well.
It's just awkward to me because I feel like it's just so easy to interrupt the Warwick ultimate here, right? Like now even with the Cho'Gath lock-in as well, like Nami has a clear place to put her bubble. Cho'Gath can silence or even knock up as well if he times it like right. Like there's so much CC that can interrupt this Warwick ultimate here that I'm really questioning. You know, who are we looking for even? Are we trying to focus out the Jhin? Like, if you can, like, somehow get behind him while he's doing a curtain call? Late game, Jhin is going to be a billion miles away with that, right? Like, you have to be very careful as now the Rek'Sai going to be locked in.
The Rek'Sai actually brings a really interesting twist on this because Warwick can't fight the Rek'Sai really ever either, because Rek'Sai, every time Warwick wants to go for that chomp, will just knock up Warwick, so they'll both be crowd controlled for the same amount of time if the fear is on. I am a little concerned for Rising Tide Typhoon's comp here just because of some of those picks, but I like the support pickup because it does provide you a little bit of a better team fight tool in some ways. Alistar can be really good at engaging as well as disengaging, and especially when you're looking at this Rek'Sai as the main engage from Glacial Void, it is so easy for Alistar to cancel that out. At any time Rek'Sai wants to tunnel and you just headbutt her away.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Pulverize is also another good ability to stuff any sort of engagement. It's just the only thing I'm looking for now is some actual damage here, some very high damage mid laner, and that's exactly what we're going to get with the Akali. You know, we're seeing a bunch of these champions here, and Warwick and Urgot are going to fall off eventually and turn into some like high damage frontliners, right? And Alistar as well. And Ashe not exactly known for being high damage, right? She's just mostly utility from being able to spread slows around and has a strong initiation tool for her team. You know, this Akali here is really going to be able to capitalize on a lot of the CC that her team is going to be providing her with, as we now see the last pick here is going to be Malzahar, which, you know, we were talking about Warwick being countered before. Now Warwick is definitely going to be countered here with the Malzahar lock-in.
Yeah, there's some really interesting interactions here that I want to point out. First of all, the Urgot, I'm interested to see what build We Wizard goes for. There's the very common Titanic Hydrant to Black Cleaver build, and this game might actually not be the option. You could opt for, instead of the Black Cleaver, Yomu's Ghostblade, which sounds interesting, but Warwick is Urgot is notoriously slow, and if you can get some movement speed, you know, it's kind of nice. It's a little bit of a side meta sort of deal, but I think that considering it's only Cho'Gath who's really going to be building armor, you might be able to get away with that, but the Akali into Malzahar is going to be really interesting because level 6 is sort of the make or break point. You've got to just see like everyone come mid lane at level 6 once these mid laners hit, because whoever gets that first kill will sort of take over the lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you said it right? I think Urgot is really going to be able to run away with this kind of, or can just very easily run away with this top lane matchup as well. I wanted to take a look at how Tuna play. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Tuna really plays Cho'Gath kind of at all. So I don't think Cho'Gath is a particularly hard champion to pilot, but when you're going up into what I can assume can be a losing matchup, right? Because it's ranged versus melee, and particularly a fairly tanky ranged at that with the Urgot, right? It's going to be really, really tough for this Urgot in this lane, especially early before they start getting those consume stacks.
Yeah, you've got to make sure that you focus down sort of the... In the early game, it is sort of easy to focus down Cho'Gath because he has really long cooldowns. He's not as tanky as you'd expect, you know, really relies on sort of getting that sustain in lane. So I would like to see Warwick go for a level 2 or level 3 gank, honestly. It would be good to see that with how much gank setup Urgot actually has with the flip as well. If Sir Gerb can make an appearance up there, would give We Wizard a really strong part of the lane, because while Cho'Gath has that execute with the feast, you know, Urgot also has that in the kit, and if you can start to stack up those kills onto Urgot, means that they will become an unkillable menace later while dishing out a whole bunch of damage, as you said, high damage frontliners. So I want to see the jungle pathing, because I think that both of these junglers need to put some focus towards top here. Mid lane, as I said, going to be a level 6 sort of angle, and bot lane, I don't think there's too much. Like, there is gank potential for sure, but I don't think any of these 80 carries are really going to want to do much, especially levels 1 through 3.
Yeah, I'm really looking for these early levels for Warwick to be in either the mid lane or the bot lane, and then once level 6 happens, I'm just expecting Warwick to just be like, okay, goodbye Akali, you're on your own. Like, there's no world where I think Warwick wants to dive the Malzahar, right? Like, first Akali needs to get rid of the spell shield, and then Warwick needs to dive the Malzahar, not underneath his own turret, right? So it's like when you play like a Xin Zhao, and then the enemy team is like, here's Poppy in the top lane, and then Xin Zhao just has to look at his top laner and just be like, well, have fun, I guess. You know, it's like, if you're so clearly countered by like one particular ability that your opponent has, it then makes that lane pretty impossible to gank.
Yeah, I think that the mid game is going to be interesting for me, because Urgot's going to be, I think, the strongest side laner here, and Akali is going to have to really pick and choose her battles, because if she's not fed, you can't be laning against a Malzahar who will just one-shot you once he gets that ultimate and enough damage over time. You can't really fight the Cho'Gath because Cho'Gath will just eat you. And Akali, you know, as an assassin, going to be a little bit squishy. I want to see the build that Mr. Gerb goes for because I've seen Riftmaker rise in priority a little bit. I've also heard rumblings of Gore Drinker Akali.
Yep.
It sounds whack, but, you know, it has Omnivamp now, so
yeah,
maybe a thing. So I'm curious to see what Mr. Gerb opts for. Wouldn't be surprised to just see sort of the standard Rocket Belt, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see for sure. I mean, I feel like Akali has had a bunch of mythic items that have been really good on her. I remember, like, at first people were building Night Harvester and having success, and then after Riftmaker was buffed, people started going Riftmaker, and now that Gore Drinker has Omnivamp, people are trying out to see whether or not Gore Drinker is good on Akali, because once again, Akali is both like a mix of AD and AP, so Gore Drinker, even though people look at it and be like, oh, this isn't an AP item, it doesn't really matter, right? The big thing is that it's Omnivamp, and Akali is able to then heal off of the magic and the ability damage that she does, and also the auto attacks that she sometimes weaves into her combos.
And a big thing about Akali is the fact that once they removed Spellvamp from the game, like they removed Will of the Ancients, old Akali was just like Sag, and then they removed Hextech Gunblade, and then she was even more Sag. So it's always a case of with Akali, she wants to sort of just get as much damage as possible and be able to stay alive, because she is a very squishy champion regardless of how mobile she is. So, you know, there have been times where they go Riftmaker Demonic Embrace just so that they can that Akali's can stay alive for long enough. So I want to see what Mr. Gerb does, because Akali hasn't really been front of the meta for the last 4 or 5 patches, I dare say. Yeah. I think for most of the summer season, Akali's been sort of in the dumpster. So I want to see how this works out, especially when it's into what is seen as a pretty tough lane with Brighter's Malzahar.
Yeah, and playing any sort of dive champion into Malzahar just feels bad most of the time too, right? And we talked to I talked about this briefly when mentioning like Warwick, right? Like Warwick is just, once level 6 happens, I'm just expecting the Sir Gerb to just kind of ignore that Malzahar even exists. It's just be like, I do not perceive it, and then move on, right? And I would love to talk more about maybe some of these other lanes, but I feel like for the most part, this is going to be a pretty uneventful early game for the most part. Like the most action we'll probably be seeing in the top lane with Urgot and Cho'Gath, and maybe in these early levels with Akali against Malzahar. But like Jhin, Nami versus Ashe, Alistar, like these are 280 carries that like their level 1s and level 2s are like not explosive, and you know, on top of that, like aren't gonna do damage until they have at least an item, right? It's not like an Ezreal who like comes back to lane with a Sheen and then suddenly they're a champion, right? Yeah. And it's just going to be really tough to see any sort of early game action kind of anywhere on this map almost.
Yeah, I'm always curious about how like champions like Warwick and even Rek'Sai in some ways, both of these junglers, how they're really going to interact with their team come those later stages of the game, because realistically it's whoever's stronger is going to be more useful, but I don't think either of these junglers is going to be useful once we get past 20 minutes. So apart from their, you know, getting the knockups on Rek'Sai or getting us suppressed with Warwick. So Sir Gerb and Kama definitely going to have to take more of a supportive role unless they get hyper fed, in which case they can one-shot people, but the likelihood of that happening is a little lower than I think we would expect.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, we are going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of game number 2 of the Rising Typhoon up against Glacial Void. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
to Summoner's Rift.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 9. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Rare Adam, and we're on the Rift for Glacial Void. Glacial Void up against Rising Tide Typhoon. Glacial Void's on the red side. Glacial Tide Typhoon's on the blue. We're ready to get this game underway. We have a 5-point start from both teams. No aggressive warding coming out just yet. But I think this is looking like a game to be pretty good on both sides here.
Oh.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Sad. Well, Rare Adam, you ready to go?
They're not ready to go. Why should I be ready to go?
Because you're the caster, you should always be ready.
This is true. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Gonna be a slow start. Oh, wait, that was a quick pause. Our delay worked.
Yeah, they're gonna get an electric proc on a Tuna here, which is actually pretty well timed, considering that, you know, if they back now, they're gonna be a little bit late to lane. Yeah, so we'll have to see what goes on. I don't think that's going to really amount to anything, because I don't think Akali gets really anything off of that either. So I think it was just a bit of damage. You know, maybe Tuna is late to lane here, but we are experiencing the rather common spectator bug of, oh, that pause didn't last for as long as we wanted it to, so
here's another one.
More pause. Yeah, here's another one.
Yeah, Mr. Gerb. One thing that I got the Akali looking at runes here. 23 damage on that rune. Perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
But
just a whole bunch.
Yeah,
from electrocute there. Yeah.
Blue buff here as well. This is interesting to see it a Sir Gerb specifically, just because Warwick wants to gank topside, I think, here, and actually going to get spotted out by Tuna here as well. So Sir Gerb, I don't know, has that jungle pathing compromised, and I think that might be a little bit rough. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kama look for an invade here.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is a very, very mobile champion and can get over walls very easily. You know, we see that with the likes of Talon in the most recent patch. But luckily, once the difference between Rek'Sai and Talon is once Rek'Sai goes over a wall, she can go back over it very, very quickly. It's definitely looking. I wouldn't be surprised if Rek'Sai just went blue, Gromp, over the pit, red, Krugs, back over.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. Level 2, so won't have the tunnel quite yet, but if they can pick up this red buff, they will be able to get that level 3 and be able to tunnel over that wall. But gonna steal away the Raptors here. Red buff, actually. Sir Gerb might actually run into them, and this would be really bad for this Rek'Sai, because Rek'Sai versus Warwick early, I'm pretty sure Warwick will win that almost every single time.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not he has his W leveled at this point, which, you know, might be able to spot out Rek'Sai here, but we do have the two junglers meeting. But I think by the time Warwick has shown up, the red buff is already gone. And Rek'Sai not going back to her own jungle. She's looking to gank at the bot lane here. Let's give me the flash forward onto onto Gopamine here. Actually taken pretty low. Can't find the rest of the damage, but the flash forward from Kama onto Resilient here. They're going to be able to find the kill as Gopamine is going to be, Rek'Sai is going to be the one picking up the first blood here. Warwick is down here in this bot lane. Does sneef and smell some low HP down here, but not going to be able to find anything just yet as they are out of their first blood. Goes to Vakama on the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, really well played by that Rek'Sai, going red buff right towards that bot side, knowing that they don't have any vision on that, or actually the fact that blue side here, Rising Tide Typhoon, not putting a ward on their red buff is a little bit interesting. And now I get the other spectator bug where I get hitches every few seconds, so...
Yeah.
Radio style.
We do have Sir Gerb fighting here, but the Conqueror is going to proc, and they're trying to get away, but they're going to be knocked into the air here, trying to flash away. But Kama's going to be the one picking up the kill on the Sir Gerb here, as that's 2 easy kills by Kama in the river right there.
Yep, and Shinkari, you get to go radio style once again for a little bit while we try and sync back up, because the Spectator clan hates us.
Yeah, I mean, the Spectator clan has been having a whole bunch of bugs recently, but the Wee Wizard just having an easy time in this top lane. Tuna just really not able to approach this this minion wave really at all. The Wee Wizard really doing a good job of abusing the range that they have over Cho'Gath in the top lane here. Missing a couple minions here and there, but, you know, it's are just kind of like in this current wave, but, you know, not really the end of the world, because they are still up 12 CS over their opponents. We take a look mid lane now. The Mr. Gerb is up against Brighter here. As you know, they're still farming back and forth. Luckily for the blue team right now, they might have lost those 2 kills early, but what's keeping them in this game right now is their CS lead, as Bigsby's going to Hex Flash forward, look for the Nami. That's already a decent chunk of damage, but it's going to take a whole lot of response here. You don't have those tanky runes in order to survive this time, and Alistar's going to go down after Hex Flashing into the Nami. I'm liking these aggressive plays, but you don't exactly have the 80 carry in order to match it.
Yep, and we're just seeing the Hex Flash player right now. So you get to cast it again.
Yep.
Alistar died. Okay, never mind. Let's sync back up here, Shinkari. You get to see the lights on in Space Mountain, as we always say.
Yeah. We're going to turn the lights on in Space Mountain in just a second. I am going to pause at 5:20.
Okay, we get to see the next 20 seconds on stream here, just so that I can still have that delay. Resilient. Farming it out here. 5:10, 5:11, 5:12, 5:13. As Mr. Gerb throwing out some shuriken or kunai. As we hit 5:19, 5:20, 5:21, 5:22, 5:23.
Awesome, we're synced up back again.
And synced right back up into a 1,300 gold lead for the side of Glacial Void here.
Yeah, and this is really just, I think, a mismatch in this bot lane. Not of the Alistar and Ashe versus the Nami Jhin, but more so just the Alistar and the Ashe here. I mean, Ashe isn't exactly an early game burst champion, right? And I feel like that's what this Alistar build currently in terms of runes and masteries is what they're looking for, right? Like they have pretty aggressive runes here. They have the phase rush for that easy follow-up stun, but Ashe isn't exactly a champion to look for really quick burst windows. You know, she wants a longer engagements, and this is going to be Wee Wizard dived onto on the top lane, as we have a teleport coming in from the mid lane as well into the bot lane. Gopamine looking for the kill on the Resilient here, who's pretty low. It's going to be E coming across. Gopamine looking for that last bit of damage, going to be able to pick up that Dark Harvest stack, but I think they're going to be able to pick up the kill, and Akali is going to be the one picking up the kill on the Nami. That's going to be a 2 for nothing in the bot lane, with a kill going over to Alistar and a kill going over to Akali, as now Rising Tide Typhoon is going to use this opportunity to go get the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, really well played by them, playing across the map, sort of, getting that teleport down from Mr. Gerb. Didn't actually get a chance to back, so we'll have a little bit of a rough reset timer as Brighter able to pick up that lost chapter and not need to teleport. But I think maybe if Brighter shows up to that play, they're able to turn that around. There was a trap to teleport to in that bot bush, so had the opportunity, but didn't go for it, as First Dragon goes over to Rising Tide Typhoon. Ocean's going to be the next one, so we either get Mountain or Cloud Soul. Oof. Oh no, Brighter.
Yeah, 1-2 punch. Brighter's going to be the one picking up the kill this time, as Kama's going to be taking the Scuttle Crab away from Warwick here. Going to back in that Pixel Brush here. Brighter's going back up to the top lane, and I was going to say that they had some consolation prizes keeping them in this game, but now they're down about 1,000 gold, which at this stage is pretty big. You know, having the difference of about 1,000 gold means the difference between a finished half item and a bunch of components in your inventory.
And looking at where that gold is sitting right now, it's a lot in that Rek'Sai's favor. You can see that she's picked up most of the components of her Prowler's Claw, as well as the makings of those plated steel caps, whereas Warwick only has the Phage right now. So struggling a little bit in the cash department is Sir Gerben. Getting invaded as well. Kama's already level 6 here.
Yeah, and this is also what's setting Warwick behind as well. He doesn't really have a whole lot of good lanes to gank, and now he's being counter-jungled by the Rek'Sai. Like, this is not looking good for the Sir Gerb right now, who, you know, in the previous game was really, really doing a good job of dictating the pace of the game, and now on this Warwick here, I don't think they're doing too hot. And really, the weaknesses of Warwick as a champion are really being shown here, especially across the trying to gank the opposing champions.
Yeah, just having a little bit of a rough time finding the gank opportunities, and we were saying that either one of these junglers aren't going to be that useful into the late game unless they can get really fed, and Kama's done a good job of getting to that point where they are fed.
Resilient in the bot lane here. They're trying to flash forward, find the Gopamine here. Kama is looking for that last bit, but Kama's going to be healed back up as Ashe is going to pick up that kill. It's a 1-for-1 so far. That's going to be the Rek'Sai ultimate coming across, and it's a double kill for this Rek'Sai, for this Insect Queen, as she picks up 4 kills total. 2 kills in the bot lane, 1 traded over to the Ashe, but really, really big in favor of the red squad right now of Glacial Void.
Yeah, she's feeling pretty happy about that situation. 4-0 and 0, gonna get enough gold now to finish off that Prowler's Claw, and Rek'Sai's off to the races. You really need to try and snowball on this champion, as Gerb is doing this on a ward level 5 on the Warwick. This is so bad. Oh no.
Yeah, he might even be gobbled up too. Tuna's going to be the one picking up the kill. The blue team is finally here, but they might be too little too late. It's 4v3 right now as Rek'Sai and Nami are making their way up as well. The Mr. Gerb might be playing just a little too fast and loose right now. That's the Chilling Spike coming across. Not really going to do a whole lot. The Wee Wizard is in the corners here, but can't do a whole lot. This is game number 2, going already pretty good for the Glacial Void here, as about 10 minutes in, they're up 2,500 gold.
And looking at the jungle difference right now is Kama double Sir Gerb's CS. Look at the gold here. Still just sitting on that Phage and that Ruby Crystal. Unless I somehow have invisible items, which would be awful.
Nope.
It is just
Phage Ruby Crystal is correct. Yep.
Just Phage Ruby Crystal, and then you know, this is Rek'Sai sitting on 2,200 gold. She's going to be able to pick up a Prowler's Claw, pick up tier 2 boots, and just wreak havoc on this bot lane, mid lane, even on top side right now. Wizard is not immune to that damage coming through from Rek'Sai, who is very strong mid lane.
Yeah, Mr. Gerb doing a very good job of taking the opportunity while while Brighter doesn't have that Malzahar tether right there, and we see Bigsby waiting in the corner right here. This is another really kind of fool's errand if they're looking for an engage right here. That's going to be the Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming across. That's going to be the Tidal Wave to follow. Resilient is already taken incredibly low here. Gopamine does have full ammo here. They're trying to look for the return kill here. Ignite is ticking down. Resilient throws out the volley. Can't quite land it. Bigsby is now going to body block for Ashe right now. Can they land it? Yep. They're going to be able to continue to body block here as Helium Bamboo. Oh. Okay, the shot from Jhin comes across, but now Jhin is very, very low. Has to get out of there. Now, that's going to be the Warwick ultimate coming across. Not going to be able to land this time as they're trying to get away. I'm not quite sure where that went. Is now Bigsby looking for the re-enter. There's the headbutt pulverize. Let's see if they can land the stun right now. Is Gopamine trying to turn it around to the Resilient. There's the volley coming across, and Bigsby's going to be the one picking up the kills. The Alistar ultimate comes across. Resilient is now looking for the last bit of damage on a Helium here. Maybe they can find it. They're underneath tower. They're going to go down. Helium Bamboo's going to be the one picking up the kills. And in the top lane, Kama is looking to fight Wee Wizard, as now he's going to pick up 1 kill. Can he pick up the second? This might be the turnaround that the blue team needs in order to get back into this game. Tuna is trying to kite around, maybe get an execute, but there's nowhere to run. Wee Wizard's going to be the one picking up the kill, as Nami is going to solo Ashe in the bot lane.
Oh man, and the worst part about this is that I'm able to catch up for a slight second, then we get more hitches. Spectator client, why are you doing me like this?
Yeah. Okay, do you need me to pause again?
We will both pause here.
Okay. 12:05 is where I'm paused.
I will catch up to you at 12:05, and we'll pause for a bit. This is going to be a producer pause because the Spectator client hates us. Sag.
Yeah.
The Spectator client is not stylish, but it gives us a little bit of time to talk about what just happened there. And, you know, on this bot side, Nami's picking up a whole lot of gold, and it's more so just the supports getting all this gold. And overall, it does give a little bit more of an advantage over to the Nami because she's able to work towards that Imperial Mandate, be able to buff Jin's damage up. But on that top side, a little bit too deep from Kama, and Wee Wizard able to pick up a couple of kills there. Means that they do have a sort of light at the end of the tunnel here. Only 2,000 gold down. They picked up that first dragon as well, so not the worst case scenario. As Shinkari, you ready to get back into this one and hope we don't have any more hitches? We'll press play
definitely.
In 3, 2, 1, play. 12:06, 7.
12:07. Yep.
We're good to go.
Yep.
Woo! We did it.
Yeah. Ever since 11:17, we've just been getting nothing but really, really bad spectator bugs, and it always feels bad as Bigsby goes in here. There's the headbutt and the pulverized combo. Going to be helped out a little bit by that spell shield there, as now they're trying to dive on top of Malzahar here. Going to be successful as the Mr. Greb is going to be, or Gerb rather, is going to pick up the kills. Now Kama, that's going to be the Warwick ultimate coming across, but here comes the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. They're trying to get the field of the Blast Cone. Is going to knock them away. They're going to get stunned as they hop over the wall. The Sir Gerb is looking for it. Mr. Gerb is going to flash over the wall. Kama is taking pretty low here. But I think they got a little too greedy with that blast cone there. Maybe they misclicked, and that's really what allowed Kama to get away there, gave them the opportunity. Is now the blue team does have priority on this Drake, but do need to play safe. Curtain Call is coming up in just a little bit and could provide a whole lot of damage. for the red team here. Headbutt pulverize over the wall. There's going to be a teleport coming down from Cho'Gath from the top lane here.
Will he be able to
know
chomp?
that they're on the dragon. Okay, here we go. Urgot is here. Blue team is going to be able to secure the Drake. Here comes the curtain call. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the Mr. Gerb is on a killing spree. Akali picks up one. Urgot is now going to pick up the second. Bixby is just now diving forward, looking for that last kill onto Cho'Gath. They're going to be able to find it. Helium, Bamboo, and Gopamine are going to be able to get away. It's 2 for nothing, and that's going to be in favor of the blue team. As now the Sir Gerb is able to get some farm, much needed farm in this jungle right now. Holy moly. Okay, wait a minute. Malzahar is waiting here. Am I getting a visual bug? Okay, no. Okay. Brighter is here. Brighter was waiting on the wings, looking for an engagement. Does have that grasp right there. Let's see if they're able to do so. Urgot throws out some damage. That's going to be the snare from Jhin as well. Resilient doing a good job of keeping them within range, but I don't think they'll be able to follow, especially after walking over that Jhin trap right there. So, at the end of the day, it's a 2 for nothing. The blue team picks up their second dragon, and now the Cloud Drake is the soul for this map.
Yeah, Cloud Dragon coming through, not the best, of course. You know, could be better. Could be Chemtech Dragon or something to give Ashe second life. I'm kidding. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, yeah. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes across here, just goes a little too wide, and Resilient's not going to be able to follow up on top of that right now as Bigsby still moving around looking for an engagement here. Those Mobos definitely looking pretty good for the Alistar right now, especially with Celerity. I want to take a look at his movement speed and see what his movement speed is with these Mobos activated. 449.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. You want to know what is a whole lot too? The amount of people in the top lane right now is that's going to be Kama coming over, trying to gank on a Wee Wizard, but he just is able to peel backwards way too well. And yeah, Wee Wizard really showing why they're really good on this Urgot right here. Yeah,
used that E right at the same time as that Prowler's Claw meant that Kama wasn't able to get on top of them, but Bigsby's back mid.
And Bigsby's back mid, flash forward. Oh my god, the damage from the Mr. Gerb is so good right now, especially with that Riftmaker. They're now on track to being the same score as their Heimerdinger, 4-0-1 so far. This is the light of shining hope that's gonna be able to carry their the rising tide into this late game here as the Sir Gerb is going to get caught out. But there's the fear, there's the suppress, there's the damage. Now unstoppable, trying to dive forward, but you have nowhere to go as Bigsby is going to be the one picking up the kills. Resilient and Gopamine on the bot lane are left on an island.
Yeah, looking at what kill spread here, you got 3 on the Alistar, 3 on the Urgot, and 4 on that Akali. Ooh, goodness. Here we go.
Ooh, yeah, they're going to throw out the... Let's see if they're going to get the meat grinder right here. Yep, they're not within range in order to fear away the Nami. But meanwhile, in the bot lane, Ashe was able to pick up a kill onto the Jhin. And now they're getting first turret across the map as well. What happened? This blue team was faltering so much earlier, and now they're running away with the game. Bigsby looking for some cheeky damage. There's the headbutt. There's the pulverize as well. Brighter is now feared into the enemy team again. Enchanted Crystal Arrow almost lands on top of them as well. They have a teleport coming to ground, but Helium Bamboo is in a whole lot of troubles. They're underneath turret. They're taking a whole bunch of damage to the CC on the Wee Wizard. Is good. He's going to go down here, and Kama is going to be the one picking up the turret as the two have now fallen underneath this turret. Please get out of there. The Sir Gerb, you're in some trouble. Okay. Akali picks up a double kill up in this top lane, and at the end of the day, it's a 3 for 2, but a couple are falling to that turret now, and the Mr. Gerb might be in some trouble. Tuna might look for a kill here. All right, they're finally able to get away. Ashe being able to be pretty dominant in this bot lane here now with 119 CS, 2, 4, and 4. Looking pretty good over the Jhin, who's down about 30 CS right now.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see because Gopamine had that mythic item first, but still did not win that 1v1 against Resilient, and it might have had to do with the experience disadvantage, at least, for the side of Gopamine. Don't think they had any summoners up and available for that either, but up on that top side, the Mr. Gerb able to pick up some more kills, and Sir Gerb has been able to resuscitate their score once again, 0-3-3 to 0-3-8. Finally getting some farms, still going to be behind regardless this game because of the shutdowns that Kama is able to pick up and the amount of value this Rek'Sai is actually getting overall. But Wee Wizard as well, able to pick up another kill. So 4-1-5, 6 on this Urgot, 6-0-2 on the Akali. Those are really your 2 focal points. And once again, the side lane's going to be very difficult for Glacial Void to play.
Yeah, honestly, I really want Urgot to pick up the a hole breaker this game. I feel like if they get any more of a lead, that just sitting in a side lane with a hole breaker is going to make them impossible to kill. As Bigsby looking for the engage here. That's a whole lot of damage follow-up as well from the Mr. Gerb, who's going to dive on a Gopamine on the other side here, leaving Bigsby by themselves. Mr. Gerb is going to be the one picking up the kill, but that's going to be a kill onto the Alistar in response, as Urgot is going to be able to pick up the kill on the Malzahar off screen. The Mr. Gerb is now looking for a little bit more, but Kama just does so much. They have to dash away. That's going to be the Serexai ultimate picking up the kills. They're going to be diving into the fear. There's the suppress as well. The knock-up from the Cho'Gath. Kama now has to leave the fight. Is now Tuna and Helium Bamboo versus the Wee Wizard and the rest of the blue team. The Wee Wizard finally goes down, but now Resilient and the Sir Gerb are going to be fighting this dragon. Kama is waiting on the wings, looking for an engage here. They're going to let the dragon reset just a little bit. The Sir Gerb is going to use this opportunity to heal back up. Kama still waiting on the edge. Finally goes in. They have a teleport to back them up as well, but Resilient does a whole lot of damage. Kama's going to be in some trouble here. Uses the smite fairly early to heal back up, but that's the shutdown going to be on Rek'Sai here. They're not going to be able to secure the dragon either. Is now Resilient now has to 1v2, looking for Helium Bamboo. Does a whole bunch of damage. That flurry is really good. Can they find the last bit of damage? Jin is here to survive just a little bit longer. Brighter is going to be the one picking up the kill. It's a double kill for Ashe, but they don't get the dragon, and that is crucial. A big chunk of gold goes over to Ashe, but they are able to shut down the dragon attempt.
What just happened there? That was a lot happening all at once, and Wee Wizard was saying yesterday, man, there's so much action I don't get to color cast. I'm feeling that way right now. Thus far, 2 kills a minute from these teams in this game, and just back and forth action. Warwick trying to do that dragon with Ashe, but I think they waited a little bit too long, gave enough time for Brighter to come down, and Brighter able to pick that up with the Malefic Visions. After all is said and done, though, it's pretty much a net neutral play. There's kills going back and forth. Resilient now working on their second item, whereas Gopamine unfortunately just not had the answers this game. And oh my goodness, Bigsby is just going everywhere. Oh!
Yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow is here as well. That's going to be the meat grinder coming across him. They won't be able to get the reactivation. Wee Wizard is going to be the one picking up the kill here as Healing Bamboo is in some trouble. Mr. Gerb! Holy moly! That's a whole lot of damage on the Akali. Going to be able to pick up the kill on the Nami in the mid lane. This does give the opportunity for the blue team to finally put some pressure on this outer turret, the only outer turret left for the red squad.
One thing I've really liked about Rising Tide Typhoon is they sort of, as their name suggests, you know, the early game, they're at low tide. They're just sort of vibing, doing their thing. Resilient, though. Oop.
Yeah, Resilient going to be dolled down by Kama here. That lifeline shield is going to let you survive for just a little bit longer. The knockup is good, but it's not going to stop the damage. That's going to be a flash over the wall to maybe predict that Rek'Sai was going over the wall, but maybe just playing inside your own head and playing 5D chess by yourself is they're going to be able to pick up the kill, even though that flash was not necessary. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, Malzahar is going to be picking up that turret.
Kama didn't have flash. I think they knew that. Bigsby just saying, I don't need it. I like Hex Flash better. That summoner spell is on a 20-second cooldown. I like to just be able to flash out of bushes whenever. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, like their name, they sort of rise out of their somewhat weak early game and just come into this late game with so much gusto that, you know, they're still looking for more engages despite being down in numbers here.
Yeah, for sure. As now we're starting to see these two teams. I mean, it's definitely starting to swing into Rising Tide Typhoon's favor right now. They were down a decent chunk of gold for the early game now, and now they're really seeing to turn into their own here. But I think, you know, one thing I like to bring up a lot, especially in these stages, is respect. You know, it's really important that, like, you play like you're ahead, but you need to respect the amount of damage that the opposing team can do. Ooh. This is another late game comp, and they're going to have to respect this right now as both their carries are kind of snared up right here. Bigsby tries to run away, but here comes Wee Wizard into the middle of the fight. Here comes the Warwick as well. They're going to be able to pick up the kill on the Bamboo as well. They're going to be picking up the kill on the Jin, and now it's a 4v3. They're going to pick up a very quick kill on the Rek'Sai here. As Tuna is going to be the next to fall. Brighter now has to run for their life, but the Mr. Gerb is so fast. Let's see if they can find that last bit of damage. They don't have the dive, but the Sir Gerb is so quick. That's going to be the ace for Warwick. They're going to be able to pick up the kill. It's a clean ace as well. 5-0. And now they're going for Baron.
Yeah, they can do this because you have a Kali, you have this Urgot. Everyone's so tanky and they're going to heal up enough. There's 2 wards in the back, but no one wants to teleport in on this. Helium Bamboo just spawned, coming on up for another 8 seconds. This should be Baron on all 5 members of Rising Tide Typhoon, and once again, they're able to find the fight of their dreams, find themselves the ace, clean ace actually, as Ashe didn't even fall down at the back end of that despite taking so much burn. And man, they're just able to find these mid-game fights over and over again, and every single time we just see Wee Wizard and Mr. Gerb doing so much damage overall. Urgot 8-2-9, Akali 11-1-5. Really regretting not seeing that Dark Seal earlier, just saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little late in the game for it now, right? Like, we're 23 minutes in. Like, how many stacks are you realistically going to get at this point?
25.
And, yeah, I think you're right. Oh, what? Full 25? Okay, no. You're right. You're right. I mean, when you write, you're right. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah, just sell the Dorn Shield. Who needs Dorn Shield? That's
yeah. Who needs Dorn Shield?
Item. The Dark Seal scales, okay? We know this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you write, you're right. It was now... Bigsby might be caught out here. That's a whole bunch of damage. Has to pop that Alistar ultimate. Maybe trying to turn it around with some CC, but yeah, that's definitely way too much there. It's 4v1. You don't really have a whole bunch of defensive runes. Yeah, this is definitely going to be really tough if they're looking for a fight here, but Brighter's gone over the wall here. Going to use that blast going to get back over. Kama is here as well. There's going to be the tidal wave over the wall as well, but where's the rest of the team? They're all in the pit. They can only do so much to help you on this half as Kama's going to go down after popping that Guardian Angel, and now Brighter has to back. So this looks like the turnaround that the blue team is looking for here. They're trying to find the other team here. The Sir Gerb does have the ultimate available. He's going to hop forward. They're going to flash away. He's going to be in range for the fear. That's going to be good. They're not looking for more. Ash does a whole lot of damage here. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is not a gun, but the Meat Grinder is thrown out, but not going to be able to land this time, and the blue team is going to be able to come out on top. Brighter has teleported back to the pit here, but it's a little too late. They might be able to find some stragglers, but at the end of the day, I think this dragon might be going over to Rising Tide Typhoon.
Yeah, Brighter just kind of teleports in wrong place, wrong time in some ways. Mr. Gerb, oh no.
Ooh, yeah, they're walking right into a Malzahar. That's the easiest pickup in the world. 900 gold goes over to Brighter as well. The blue team looking to maybe get something in return, but they are long gone. So they're going to have to use this Baron buff in the mid lane here, maybe pick up this tier 2. But yeah, it's looking to maybe not get a whole lot off this Baron buff right now.
Yeah, and proving me wrong, saying, you know what? Magi's was not the right choice, so yeah. Good stuff, Brighter, proving me wrong once again. But yeah, a little bit of a late teleport coming through from that Malzahar. They're still able to pick something up at the end of it, but I don't know if that teleport was the right move there. Maybe you look for a better setup player. You teleport to that minion wave on bot side. It's a little bit closer. You get a little bit more. You get a better angle, I think, into that fight, and maybe you're able to turn it. But Sir Gerb has done a really good job of getting back into this game, despite being down for most of this game. Is actually going to be right around the same experience mark as Kama here. And as we said, both of these champions don't do great in the later stages of this game. You can see Kama going third item, Guardian Angel. Warwick only has 2 items, but you know, you're just an alt bot at this point. You press R on someone and they die, and that's your goal.
Yeah, and I did want to talk about that kind of start to that fight as well. Like, I don't know how... Okay, never mind. Well, we're not going to be getting a chance to touch that. That's the headbutt. There's the pulverite. There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There's the ultimate from Warwick as well. It's a 1-2 punch in the mid lane as they're going to be able to pick up that kill on a Malzahar pretty easily. And yeah, now the Sir Gerb actually does damage. The problem is it's 26 minutes into the game, and that damage is not going to scale very well. Luckily, you were able to catch out the person that doesn't have any armor on them.
Yeah, and ooh, Sir Gerb.
Yeah, they're gonna find out Kama here, but look at Sir Gerb taking incredibly low here. They're gonna find the fear. That's gonna be the ultimate coming across. Maybe the last bit of damage that they need, but that's a huge heal. That's going to be able to keep them in the team fight and pick up a double kill for themselves, as well as now they get to push in onto this mid tier 2 turret. Wee Wizard and Mr. Gerb here really putting a whole lot of wave clear to help accelerate into this now inhibitor turret.
Yeah, just been so strong for them to be able to work towards that mid game once again, and they just press the gas pedal and go all in on these plays. And at this point, you know, inhibitor down, you're looking at a potential soul in 2.5 minutes. You're looking at Baron in 2 minutes as well. The side of Rising Tide Typhoon have so much map control right now. Let's toggle to vision really quickly here. Actually, surprising amount of vision in the deep jungle for the side of Glacial Void, but they're going to lose a lot of that now, as really only those 2 pink wards in the jungle, whereas on the flip side, you can see how much of the map they control. They control this full bottom quadrant. They have wards in the base, and they can just look for picks on Brighter if he's caught out in the mid lane.
Yeah, Brighter is in some trouble again. There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, has to flash it over the wall, but the Mystic Herb is just going to dash over to the other side as Resilient has found out the rest of the team on the other end. And now it's just looking even more tough here, because now one by one, these members are going to fall thanks to these picks. Bigsby is looking for a little bit more, but can't quite find it. He's underneath the turret. I don't think they want to go for that. They don't have they have a super wave pushing in the mid, but I think they're rotating top. Curtain call.
Oh.
Immediately canceled.
That wasn't an Ash arrow either. That was just I don't want this ult.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. As Wee Wizard's going to be shoving out this wave in the top lane, and looks like the blue team is looking to capitalize on him being right there. They're putting a whole lot of damage in, but here comes the rest of the blue team here. Wee Wizard dives back in, looking for the damage on Akama here. Might be able to find something. He's taking incredibly low. Dopamine is trying to run away now, as it's now a 4v1 right there. As now Tuna is now here to help, but here comes Brighter in from the side, looking for a flank here. They might be able to turn this around. He does not have, does have the grasp available. It doesn't seem like they were able to do it, though. Now Wee Wizard is on a triple kill, throws out the meat grinder. Can he get that last bit of damage? It's on top of Tuna, but his HP bar is way too high. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes across. The Sir Gerb is looking for the entry. That's going to be Wee Wizard. That's going to be a huge fear here. Mr. Gerb picks up a kill here, as now Tuna's trying to turn it into something in their favor, but it's not going to work. Double kill for the Akali. It might not be the cleanest ace, but it is still an ace. 5-for-1 in favor of the blue team. They can just end the game.
Yeah, they get the full house to end that one off, but a Rising Tide Typhoon definitely living up to their name. And yes, we've made a lot of ocean jokes here, but it was just a little bit of an ocean difference up on that top side. Such a strong game coming out from Wee Wizard. No bias at all. Not like he's a caster for us or anything. And a really good game out of the Mr. Gerb as well. Both of them just really providing that solo lane presence that you want to see on these teams and really carrying their team to victory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a really, really well played. And, you know, we were kind of throwing some question marks in that early game right there, because Rising Tide Typhoon was making a bunch of insanely aggressive plays, especially in the bot lane, trying to make something happen, trying to force something to work, right? And they didn't really have the early game champions. I mean, if this is the way that Bigsby wants to play, I want to see Resilient on someone like Lucian. You know, Lucian, or maybe Sivir even or just like another champion that has like an insanely good level 2, that the second that it happens, Bigsby can just go full ham on the enemy AD carry and they can have some good damage to follow up.
I think that at the end of it all, though, we got to see these teams really show their team comps in a way, and we got to see that Rising Tide can play a more team fight oriented comp, as well as the sort of pick style, and really do well on both of them. And the Mr. Gerb just, I think, has to get the MVP for this one. Had 32 kills over those 2 games. Like, absolutely ridiculous on both the Akali and the Heimerdinger, and really just showed that Glacial Void that, you know, you've got to be able to shut down someone like this in the mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. It was really good, looking good too, because you know, I think both of us were kind of worried that like Brighter was just going to run away with that mid lane, right? Like the second level 6 happens, what are you going to do, right? If you dive a Malzahar's and Akali, you just get stuck underneath turret and you die, right? But I think Mr. Brighter was like just shoving out the wave just a whole bunch. So it's because of that, like the wave was never really underneath Brighter's turret. So because of that, Mr. Gerb was able to, you know, get these kind of early kills, especially when the rest of the team followed up. And, you know, we saw that, like, once the late game happened, that we finally saw what this comp was, right? It was just a comp that was trying to roam around looking for picks, right? Like, we saw the Sir Gerb run. Like, we saw Bigsby, like, get rid of the Malzahar shield, and then immediately an Enchanted Crystal Arrow came across, and the Sir Gerb was able to follow up on that as well. Like, very, very well played. For sure, by Rising Tide Typhoon.
And I think that Rising Tide Typhoon, definitely a team to watch. I think that they've had a pretty good rookie season here, at least from what I can tell. Don't think a lot of these players have played in the league before, but really showing up and showing us that, hey, we may be mostly gold players, but we can still put up quite a fight against some of these teams. So well played from them, and honestly, good game to Glacial Void as well. I think that there's things for them that they can look towards, and definitely some places to improve, but, you know, good for them to give us the best show that they could today.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, we are going to call it a night. GG's to both teams. Well done. And congratulations to Rising Tide Typhoon for being the winner of this match. But thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action for you to watch every single week. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button. It really helps us out as well. But from everyone here at Style Esports, myself, the entire live broadcast crew, Rare Adam, my producer and co-caster for tonight, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.
Peace, peace.